Hi. So, thanks for joining the stream today. And if you read the description, today what I'm planning to do is create a calendar page for December. And we will do that on printcss.live so that we have a nice PDF which we could actually print later. And we will create everything manually in HTML and CSS. Of course, you could add some logic, creating your calendar month-wise, the HTML with PHP or some other language automatically, and then render the HTML with that and your PDF. But as we only pick the December, and if we have a look, all we actually need is we need a table with 7 columns and 5 rows for the December month view, and on top I want to add some picture, so like a normal typical calendar. So the first thing we do is remove everything from the basic business card sample. So all which should be left is a empty page definition and actually nothing in the HTML. So as I said, we need some table for the different days, and actually we have 7 columns for the 7 days and 5 rows plus 1 header row, which shows basically Monday till Sunday. So we will start with a simple table tag, and let me actually go full screen here. And then let's see if we manage to do this. So as I said, we need 7 columns, and 4, 5, 6 and 7, and we will start our view with Monday, so Monday till Sunday. So Monday, then Tuesday, then we have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and then we have our actual content, so our weeks. So we need 5 rows, and within these 5 rows we need again 7 columns for these different days. Again, you could generate this automatically, of course, if you want to. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, and now let's repeat that 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and then let's start filling these columns. So actually, when I look in the calendar, then the December 1st would be Tuesday, so we start here in the 2nd column in the 1st row, and then we simply go through with it. So 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and so on. Let me shortly do this. So 11, 12, 13. Auto-generating this would be, of course, way faster than what I'm doing here. But as we only do 1 month, this should still be fine. And then the last one, the 31st. And let's see, we have it in the 4th column, so that should be ideally Thursday. So let's see if we're right in the calendar. Yes, the 31st is a Thursday. So we have our basic table HTML structure ready. And if I go out of the full screen now, we just see a small calendar view here in the live preview. And if I actually go to the PDF rendering and we render it right now with VisiPrint, we see the same calendar view, and that is a basic table, so it would actually render with any of these tools. So yeah, there's no difference in these tools, so makes no problem anywhere. We can go back to our live view and see that again. Now what I actually want to do, I want this table to be a little bigger. It's a little small here, and I want to have it over the full width. So let's define the table element in CSS with a width of 100%. And you see left and right we would have a margin. So let me switch back to VisiPrint. You see also here the margin left and right. If I put some border, it will be even clearer. So let's try it. You see we have this border or this margin, and we will see our different table cells. So now, to avoid this border, what we do, or not this border, sorry, the margin, we will go in this add page rule and simply define a margin of 0. And the default size depends a little on your renderer, but actually most of the renderers have the A4 page as a default, and you see here how it looks in the different rendering tools. We also can go back to the live preview. There it looks a little different. It doesn't take the width, so let's better stick to the rendered PDF, which we have here. Okay, then let's actually stick with Page.js today, and let's continue styling our table. So I want all these TDs looking a little bigger, so let's do the following. Let's simply style the TDs too. We could give them all a class, but as it's the only table here, it's not really necessary. And first, let's give them some border that we see the TDs itself. And then let's give them all a certain height of, let's say, maybe 2 centimeters. So now we have at least the height equal for all these boxes. And then what we can do is we can also define the line height as 2 centimeters, and let's say text align center. So we have our days here, and also let's increase the font for this. So let's say font size maybe 24 point, and render this again. We will have our different days. And now the heading is actually a little too small compared to the rest, so also let us style that. So let me copy this style, and actually we will not define it that high. Let's make it half the size. Maybe let's see how that looks. Okay, I guess that looks quite okay for our calendar. And we have the page now, not the page, the calendar dates in here, so it should look quite fine. So what we can do is also simplify this a little bit and say td th, and as both have the same size and the text align center, we simply put that in here and remove it from these two. So now this looks quite good, and actually what I want it on the bottom of the page, so let's do this too. So here we say position absolute bottom 0, and we see now we have it on the bottom, and that again should work with any of these rendering tools. We see typeset has some different rendering for the table heads. Would need to look into that if we wanna render with typeset. Okay, then let me go back to page.cs. We said we wanna stick with that today, and we have our days below, and what I want now is on the top above it, I want some picture like a typical calendar page in these printed calendars would have. Picture on top, on the bottom the days. So for that, let's load an image here, and we will actually take some wallpaper from here. Let's search for December, and then let us find a nice wallpaper. Maybe this one looks quite good. Let's see how that would look here. So we see we have it on the top, it actually goes over the table, as you see here. Our table is positioned absolute, and below here we do not really want that, so let's give our table some background color. Let's start with white, maybe we style it differently later. We could also see that the image just fits here, but I guess this looks quite nice for the start. So in this way we can start with a simple calendar view, and now let's try to make it a little more pretty. So actually what I really like is on this HTML to PDF Guru, another site of mine, I have these samples for the CSS properties with different renderers, and I have these samples from CSS Tricks which show different properties, and here I like the style of these boxes. So we probably take the style of these green boxes here for the different days. So let's see, that's the 4th row, and if we go here, that would be then the space between, and the space between has a light green as a background. So let's also give our TDs a light green background. And then also let's see how they designed the rest. So we have a bigger font size, font bold, white, the line height and so on we do not need, because we already set that before to 2 centimeters. So let's add that too. And now we have the dates in this nice format. Let's pick another style for the hat. So again, let me pick one of these styles, and maybe what matches maybe is the first style, which is this. Guess the color is tomato. Let's see. Yes, here we have the background color tomato. So we take that in the th, and then let's actually copy this font or text styling to our td and th style, and in that way we style the whole row. So in this way you can get a nice calendar view. Maybe we should mention somewhere that we actually have December here on this page in this calendar. So let's go back to the HTML, and then here let's add a heading with December. So if I just render that, it would be above here and the image would go move down. We do not really want that, so let me put or style that here. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Okay, so also here let's make the position absolute, then it should be on the image here, and let's give it also font weight bold, and let's make it 4 em in the size, and maybe you say margin, we have an absolute positioning, so we can say left 2 centimeters maybe. Let's see how that looks. Or let's try to center it and say left 50%. And then what we would need to do is transform and put it back by 50% of the width of the H1 element. So it would be a transform translate x minus 50%, if I'm not wrong. Let's see. Yeah, now it's in the center, and maybe we move it a little down. So let's say from the top we want 2 centimeters. Then we have our December here and the calendar below, and the only thing which I would like to change now maybe is the font style. So let's go for the Google fonts and find a nice font which you can use. Let's see what we have here. Maybe this one looks quite nice. With the import rule, we just can copy this and put it here on the top in our CSS. And then we simply say for the body, we take this font family. Now I guess we need to either decrease the size of these headings or increase the columns. Looks a little small, so maybe give it also 2, maybe 1.5 centimeter. Let's see how that looks. And then as it's December, I'm not sure if this tomato color is nice. Let's maybe go more for the blue. So that would be here, the center container, that's a deep sky blue. So let's change this and see how it will look. Yeah, I guess this is better, and the calendar view looks quite nice. In this way you can style any month, just maybe instead of manually creating this table, auto-generate it. And now let's see how it looks in the different rendering tools. So here actually in VC Print we do not see our table anymore. Let's see where it went, or if we see it, but it's basically like with the different browsers a few years back, every renderer does it a little differently. So it seems here we would need to take some other styling to actually make it work. So we wanted to concentrate on printcss. We keep it with that. Also you see here that the Vivlio style has a different default page size and behaves a little different here. Typeset, as we said, has some problem with the TH, so not sure what's with that. Maybe let's try with a display inline, although they should already be. No, that's not the issue. Not sure why they are styled like this. Did I mess up the HTML structure? I don't think so. So if you know what's the issue, just paste it in the chat and then you can fix it together. Prints doesn't render it. I guess on my printcss.live I have a problem whenever I put some font, and I guess that's not a problem of prints, it's more a problem of how I integrated it. It doesn't render, then you see without it it's rendering perfectly fine. I still need to figure out what's the issue here, and again, if you know it, just put it in the chat and then I might be able to fix it directly. PDF Reactor also doesn't show the table, so again we would need to see to move it to the first page. Let's try Antenna House. It shows the table, so this should be fine, but as we said, let's concentrate on printcss, and here the whole view is quite nice. What we could try is if we can style the empty TDs differently. So I'm not sure if printcss allows us to do so. Let's see. So there is this empty selector actually, and when you look here, all you need to do is put an empty, and then we should be able to style it differently, but it's not said that the renderers actually support it. So let's try it first with simply putting a different background color. So let's go for yellow for now. Yeah, this works. So instead of yellow, let's maybe put a gray. I guess gray is actually nice. Let's see how light gray looks. Yeah, light gray, I guess, looks better. And then we directly see that that the December starts on a Tuesday and it ends on the Thursday. This way we could of course add now multiple pages, so maybe let's add the November too, that we see if it works also for multiple pages. So let's wrap that all in a div with a class month. Should still work the same. Yes, it does. And then let's copy the same, so we have it basically twice. Looks quite good. Now we just need to change the first one. So here we would actually have November. No. And let's take a different picture for November. Yeah, maybe such a picture for the fall is quite nice. So let's take this one and exchange the picture here. So now we actually lost our table. Let's see what size we had for the other image. It was 925. That way it's better. And now, of course, the days don't match. So again, here we would need to check. So let me open my calendar. So November actually started on a Sunday. So we have Sunday as the last day here, and then we have 30 days we need to put here. Again, this would be way easier if we automate the generation of the HTML. So we need one more row, and there we just have the 30th on a Monday. Let's render this and let's shortly check in the calendar. Yes, Sunday to Monday, and we see all the other empty rows are in gray. The November here is a little too dark, let's say. We probably need to change that. And in December it's looking good. So let's actually give these months also, let's not call it like the month, let's say light, and we could give this a dark, but as we only style the light version differently, we can simply keep it with light. And then let's say in light the H1 has a color white. Still not perfectly readable, but I guess better than the dark version. We could also give the text in general a background. Let's say background color, and then let's see what we give it. Let's say RGBA. That's probably too dark. That's maybe better, but then also let us give the whole thing a padding of what do we give? Maybe 5 millimeters. But then I guess we can ignore this light version and make it light on both. Yes. And then let's remove this again. Not needed. And do some maybe border radius of again 5 millimeter. And this way it should look nice on almost any background. Okay, and in this way you could of course continue with all the different months, so we could add October and the other months and make a nice yearly calendar, and then print it or just keep it on our desktop. If you want, of course, instead of simply showing the days here that big, we could maybe also show some events which happen on these days. So let's go to December, and here, for example, the 27th, and add some events here. Shouldn't go up. And here would be my birthday. And this is now obviously way too big in here, so we would need to style that a little differently. So let's go back here and let's change this style. As this is 2, this is 1 AM, so let's try it like this. Yeah. So now the text is smaller, we still have the list style type. So let me first debug with the border. Favorite debug method here. Okay, so we have this thing here, and then our list point. So let's say font weight normal, although I guess this font, when we included it, it only had one font weight available, so it should look always the same. We can also use, let's use a different font here. Not font, font family. Oh, now it's almost a little too small. Let's give it 18 point. And the line height here is probably also problematic. Let's see how we style this nicely. So here we probably need a text align left. Otherwise this list point looks so lost. So let's try this. I guess this looks better. And then let's still, so we have this number maybe a little too far up, but let's see what happens when we put that to the right side. And let's put that here. And then completely to the right, let's give it also padding of 5 millimeters maybe. And then we see here they are still centered, so let's say vertical align. That should be top. So now of course this column is bigger than the others because of our text here. We could also make them all the same size, so we always have the 7 columns. So we could simply give them also a fixed size if we want. But I guess this is quite fine because we simply have more text here, so we can keep it like this. And if we simply add some other dates, let's say here the 31st if then we have the tier 2, and still the table maximum takes the size of the page, but we see also the picture gets smaller because now our table is bigger, so the table takes more space because we had it positioned absolute, which is fine, I guess, because the most important is your calendar. The picture is just like a nice to have thing here. So in this way you could add some events anywhere, also in November. Let's go here. Yeah, here we are in November. Let's add some event here. And then also you will see here the table grow and the space for the image will decrease. So in this way you are able to create a nice monthly calendar, and we optimized, or we wrote the code with or for Page.js, so in the different rendering tools it will look differently. So when we go again for PDF Reactor, you see our tables are missing, but we will not worry about that today. Good, so in this way you can design your calendar. Let's go maybe for different view here, zoom out a little that we see it. Looks quite nice. And yeah, if you do not want any events in here, the columns also would be all of an equal size. Just November has one row more, that's why it's taking more space here. And this is how your calendar would look then. Don't get confused by these white areas here. That's usually just a viewing error of these PDF viewers online. If you download it and open it in your Acrobat reader, you will actually not see that. So there it will look fine. I'm just checking that on my local machine. Yes, it's looking fine there. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed creating these calendar views for December and November with me, and yeah, you can try it out yourself on printcss.live, and maybe you create a nice yearly or a nice calendar for next year. Then let me know, send me the code or send me a picture or the full PDF of your calendar. Would be nice to see. Okay, then yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and see you or talk to you next time. Bye.